Welcome back to r/relationship advice, where in today's insane story, OP's girlfriend tries to push him off a cliff. If you are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to join our awesome community, and without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And guys, before we start, I would just like to say that today is Mama-san's 33rd anniversary, which I assume is her marriage anniversary and not the anniversary of her being an entitled diva, because obviously that has been going on since the start of her life. Anyway, happy anniversary Mama-san, and now let's dive right into the story. This one is titled, Would I, 38 female, be an idiot if I got back together with my ex-husband, 37 male, who cheated on me 10 years ago? My ex, who we will call Mike, and I were together since we were 14 and got married at 22. We have 2 kids together, 15 female and 11 male. My ex's work takes him all over the country for a week every quarter. In one of those trips he hooked up with one of his co-workers. I never thought he could do something like that, cause our relationship was really solid. He confessed immediately after he got home. I actually would have never found out if he didn't. He begged me for forgiveness, said that he still loved me and it was a lapse in judgment, but said he would understand if I wanted a divorce, which is what eventually happened. It was very amicable and he actually gave me more than I expected: house, child support and alimony. It was a slow process, but over the years we became friends again and have a good co-parenting dynamic. Mike is a great father and the kids still love him. I got married 3 years after and he was actually very supportive. I divorced my second husband 2 years ago because he changed his mind on kids. I want one last baby. Since the lockdown, Mike has been over frequently. At this point our relationship is so good we don't need to enforce any of the set visits and such. Well, things have been getting hot between us for the last few months and we started having intercourse. I'm a woman with needs too, and to be very honest with you guys, he is still the best guy I've been with after all these years. It is like our bodies were made for each other. He always joked that we were like Prime, Pippin and Jordan in bed, and when he said that again, it felt like we were back 10 years ago when we were still together. It was supposed to be just physical, but here we are. Just a few hours ago he brought up the idea of us getting back together. He gave me the most genuine speech about how stupid he was the night he cheated and how he never stopped loving me in the last 10 years. I was speechless and could not say anything, so he just gave me his usual toothy smile and said, "It is okay, I will wait," before driving home. Now I am lying here in bed typing this out. I would be lying to you guys if I said I did not love him. I would be lying if I said the last few months were not the happiest I've been in years, and I would be lying if I said I never forgave him for cheating. I've told him years ago that I already did. If I had to decide right now, I would jump out of bed and drive to his house and bring him back home. It is taking all my willpower not to do so. I love him, however, I also want to think with my brain here. Pros of taking him back: he's a great dad and the kids would have him around more. He's a great provider. He says he still wants kids and I still love him. Cons: I don't know yet, but maybe some of you can help me with that. Any advice on how I should proceed? Edit: I made the first move when we started sleeping together. And a user in the comments said, he made a big mistake and has spent 10 years paying for it. The main question you need to ask yourself is whether or not that is enough. You are the only one who can answer that. It sounds like you trust him not to cheat again and that you want him back in your and your kids' lives. So, can you put it behind you and move forward and not have his affair be a constant dark cloud hanging over the relationship? That is not something you should answer late at night in the middle of a rush of emotions. It is something you need to have an honest and open discussion with him about, not trying to spare his feelings or be a nice person, but based on what you feel deep in your gut. It would probably be best to have that discussion in a marriage counselor's office and have a professional help both of you walk through your feelings and the situation. And guys, I'm curious, have you ever been in the unfortunate situation that your significant other cheated on you, and if so, have you gotten over it? Were you either willing or able to forgive him or her? Let us know in the comments. Personally, I would have to say I could never ever forgive my SO if she did something like this. The next one is an update to the story from before. It has been a few days now since I've posted, and Reddit has given me some solid advice, especially the kind Redditors who messaged me directly. I am very grateful for this cause. It helped me calm down and not give in to my impulses. The morning after I posted, I texted Mike saying that I needed time and space to think about everything. He then replied with,
"I've waited 10 years, I can wait a bit longer."
My heart melted. When the kids woke up, our son was looking for his dad. He's at the age now where he pretty much idolized his dad. I get why though, Mike is an amazing dad. Our daughter gave me the stink eye all morning. After lunch, when our son was in his room playing video games, my daughter confronted me about Mike. She basically said how she knew there was something going on, guess we are not that sneaky, and that she did not want our fighting to affect their lives. She thought we were fighting. Now, the divorce affected her, but not as badly as expected. We made sure to get her counseling immediately after and made extra sure her life was as normal as possible. I'm not gonna delude myself and think she was not hurt by it, but I'm pretty confident in saying we dealt with it pretty well, or as well as we could. I then had the conversation about how we were not fighting, but quite the opposite. We were thinking about getting back together. She thought about it for a while and said she was happy for us and hoped it was forever this time. The next day I dropped my kids off at my parents' house so I could talk to Mike at his place. We had a long talk about how we felt about each other, what we planned to do about going forward, and as many of you suggested, what he planned to do next time we hit a rough patch, especially since we plan on having a third kid. He told me that the night he cheated still haunted him 10 years later. He told me how it was not worth it one bit and how it was the biggest mistake of his life. He said that if we ever hit a rough patch again, we would talk about it like adults. He even suggested we do couples counseling every now and then, even when times are good. I like this idea. There are some details about our conversation that I want to keep private, but long story short, we got back together. We are going to take it slow, and in every step we take, we both agreed that our children would take priority over everything. He's not going to move in yet, but he would spend a few nights a week at home with us. Later that night we sat the kids down and broke the news. Daughter did not say much because she already knew, but our son was over the moon. Since we divorced when he was a baby, the concept of both his parents being together was quite new to him. They obviously asked questions and we answered. We are also planning on doing family counseling to help make the transition easier for everybody. Overall, I'm really happy right now. Mike made a mistake 10 years ago, but I don't hold it against him and have completely forgiven him for it. I know he loves me now and won't cheat on me anymore. I am back together now with the love of my life and father of my kids, and I could not be happier. As I type this out, Mike is in the next room playing video games with our son. I am not entirely sure what the future will look like, but I am happy he is back. Thank you Reddit for the advice. It really helped with our talk and how we proceed going forward. I think I will stay online for an hour or so to reply till the kids are asleep and he comes to bed, and then it is my turn to have fun. Honestly guys, I really did not expect this sort of outcome, and in the end I am happy for OP, and indeed 10 years is a long time and it is definitely possible to forgive someone. Would you have forgiven Mike in this time? Let us know what you would have done in the comments. And by the way, while you're at it, it would make me really happy if you could like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you want to support me. Thank you so much in advance. And the next one is titled, "My girlfriend tried to push me off a cliff as a joke." My girlfriend, 20 female, is completely crazy, but mostly in a good way. Spontaneous is an understatement. Sometimes she goes too far, but I love her for her crazy personality. I, 18 male, am more relaxed and we balance each other out. 2 recent incidents really freaked me out though, and I need advice. I was driving on a highway with a lot of traffic. We were going maybe 40 miles per hour. She suddenly started tickling me and would not stop when I yelled at her. I jammed on the brake and someone almost hit us from behind. I asked her what the F is wrong with her, but she just laughed about it and told me to chill. I said, "What would make you want to do that?" And she said,
"I don't know, just felt like it."
Then last Saturday I was hiking with her and I was standing near this steep cliff. I am usually wary of her because you never know what she's gonna do, even though it is usually just a prank or something. I let my guard down and she went behind me and pushed me towards the cliff, and I swear I almost fell off. She did it hard and I ended up right at the edge. She was laughing so hard, I freaked out and started screaming at her, and I may have been out of line, but holy crap. She laughed about it at first, but then she started crying and saying she was so sorry. The next day she started texting me saying that she didn't mean any harm and she just didn't know that I would get so mad at her for doing that. Am I crazy for even thinking about this? Is it possible she's just immature and if I get back with her she will be different? I'm kind of lonely and I really love her, but this really made me rethink the situation because now I feel like she is legit crazy, not just fun crazy. Thanks for your advice. And a user in the comments said, your girlfriend has a serious problem, especially seeing you say she gave an allergic friend nuts because she thought that was funny. This is just frightening. This is not normal. This is not even considered crazy personality. She has mental issues that need to be professionally addressed. And another person said, I would be worried that she is a sociopath. She obviously enjoys endangering other people's life to the point she keeps doing it over and over again. One day she will actually kill someone. And another person said, a friend of mine died while camping when he tripped on a rock and fell off a cliff. He was an organ donor and his body was so mangled that they could not even salvage his eyes. Cliffs are no joke. And another person said, just reading the description, my mind went to the she sounds like a legitimate psychopath. It reminded me of James Fallon interviews, neuroscientist who discovered his own psychopathy, where he talks about casually putting his brother's life in danger. And guys, I'm curious, what do you think about this girlfriend? Do you think she legit could be a psychopath, or is she just sort of crazy? Would you stay together with her? Let us know what you think in the comments. And by the way guys, I would just like to remind you, since lately once again, or rather as usual, YouTube forgets to show my videos to my old subscribers, so it would be really nice if you could click the bell button to not miss any of my uploads. You know, I don't spam you with any meaningless videos or memes or something like that. I promise I won't spam you. Update to the crazy girlfriend story. I've been thinking a lot and I decided that I am ending my relationship with her. This is not easy for me. It is hard because I've been with her for almost 2 years, but it is even harder because now I feel a ton of guilt myself as I remember things that I ignored and how I was only worried about her after I became the victim. I mentioned that point in the other thread, but I feel even worse about it now. I know I was stubborn in the last thread, but I listened to everyone's advice very carefully. You all helped so much. When people brought up the sadism aspect, it sort of clicked. I don't know if it was stupidity or selfishness, but I did not think of her that way until this week. I just ignored everything she did. I thought about some memories using this new perspective. I remember early this year her dad got her a job at the front desk at this apartment complex. It is hard to explain this place because it is sort of a luxury place and most apartments are not like this, but I was there once or twice to pick her up and I remember what the building looked like. There were a lot of older people living there and right near the entrance of the building there was an elevator which only went up. Then there was the main elevator which was kind of far down a long hallway. She had to call that first elevator down after the person was approved to go into the building. One time me and her were smoking and just chilling talking about stuff. She was laughing to me about how she would sometimes disable the up elevator and pretend it was out of order, and then she would watch these older / handicapped people walk down this long hallway to get to the main elevator. She got fired up pretty quickly anyway because she activated the fire alarm when there was no fire. When they asked her what happened, she pretended that the computer was glitching and she could not stop it, but they believed she did it on purpose, so they fired her. I'm sure some people could have been injured during the chaos. I guess the alarm must have disabled the elevator, so everyone had to grab their stuff and run down the stairs as quickly as possible. I can imagine all these elderly people going down so many flights of stairs. I don't think anyone was injured, but they did fire her and maybe they are still investigating. I don't know if it could help, but I'm gonna call that place and tell them what she told me and how she admitted to pulling the alarm on purpose. That will help my conscience out a lot. Like I said, I feel terrible about ignoring this stuff. You might think I'm an idiot or a terrible person myself. I don't know what to say, but when I really thought about this stuff, I decided I could not be with her. I know people will criticize me, and that is fine. This is an update, but also a confession, to be honest, because I have to get that off my chest. And there's a bunch of other stories too that she told me or that I saw myself. I enjoyed her craziness, to be honest, even though I was always on edge, but I thought of it as her being fun and spontaneous instead of sadistic. I guess I'm pretty weird myself. I responded to her texts this morning because she was starting to get angry and was sending a lot more texts. I told her I was really sick and thought she could not be near me, but that we might be able to hang out again in a week or two. I said I was not mad at her anymore, and I just did not respond because I was sick. I just told her that to get her off my back and to give myself time to prepare for the breakup, because I don't know how she's gonna react and I want to be safe. For example, she has keys to my house and I'm living with other people, including kids, so I want to change the locks and make sure we are not tied together in any other ways before I do an official breakup. Do you think that is a smart idea? I could use any advice on the best way to do a breakup in this situation, because I'm kind of worried. Once again, thanks so much for all your advice last time and have a good day. And fortunately or unfortunately, that was the last update from OP, and I hope it really worked out well in the end. A breakup is never easy, especially given the circumstances here. And the last one is titled, I walked in on my son having intercourse with my brother's wife. Throwaway on mobile, I, 44 female, walked in on my son having intercourse with my sister-in-law, 30 female, brother's wife in a cabin, and I think they've been having intercourse for a while. My brother, 37 male, moved in with us in February with his wife and 2 children. My husband, 44 male, and I have a big house on a farm. My husband is a farmer, and with everyone working from home, we thought it would be a good chance to stay together as family and for my nieces to spend time on the farm. I have 3 children and all of them live with us. The oldest is 18 male and the other 2 are 16 female and 13 female. On the day my brother arrived, I went to buy groceries with my son and he went to the pharmacy to get his gym supplements and I bought the food. I saw condoms in my son's plastic bag. When we arrived at the house, 2 packs with 36 condoms each, so 72 in total. I did not think anything of it, thought he had gotten a girlfriend and wanted to be safe. Everything was fine, everyone got along with my sister-in-law and son, would go on an early run around the farm. Everything seemed normal until last month when they left on their run, but I was up baking and I never saw them make any rounds around the farm, which was weird. I asked about it and they said they decided to hit the road. I thought nothing of this, everything seemed normal. My sister-in-law and son seemed to have a very good bond. Yesterday I was coming from a friend's house early in the morning. The sun was not up yet and it was a little dark, but I saw that the cabin we have in the farm was open and the light was on. I thought maybe one of the employees had forgotten to lock up, so I went to close the door and switch off the light. As I got closer, I heard people having intercourse and I took a peek and it was my son and sister-in-law. I did not confront them, I was so in shock. I still have not told anyone what I saw and I don't know what to do. Should I confront them? Should I tell my brother? Should I tell my husband? I am so confused. I've been doing a lot of thinking and I'm sure they've been having intercourse for a while from the condoms. My son was always at the house, never brought a girlfriend. The morning runs around the farm. Do they really go on a run or do they have their close relationship? And a user in the comments said, I grew up on a farm and I'm just going to give you the advice no one here has yet. Hide the guns, lock them up in a safe if you have one, and put the key in a new place. No matter how you handle this, it's gonna be bad. And guys, I would love to know, what do you think? How should the wife handle the situation? I assume hiding the guns is indeed a good decision, and I'm really curious what happens in the update. Update to the brother's wife's story. I first want to thank everyone for all the advice I got from my original post. I'm sorry for not replying to any comments. I think I only replied to one comment. My head was all over the place. I will try to keep this update short. As was suggested by many of the comments, I decided to tell my husband first and proceed from there. My husband lost it. He first thought it was a joke. We talked about the issue and we decided we should first talk to our son before telling my brother. We confronted our son with what I saw. He already knew what was going on as he saw my Reddit post and put 2 and 2 together. He did not deny anything, but he confessed. He told us him and sister-in-law have been having intercourse since February last year. He was 17 at the time. My son said it started on sister-in-law's birthday party. He attended, they got drunk and had intercourse in a bathroom, and they've been meeting at hotels ever since and sneaking off at family gatherings. After my son's confession, my husband just lost it and told my son to leave the house and go to our condo in town as he did not want to see him in front of him at this moment. When my son was gone, my husband stormed into my brother's room and told my brother everything. Sister-in-law was not in the house at that moment. My brother lost it and packed his stuff, took the kids and left. He asked where my son had gone. He said he wanted to teach him a lesson. We did not tell him and he eventually left. Sister-in-law did not return. I think my brother might have called her or my son warned her and she's afraid to come back. Her things are still in the house. In all the screaming and shouting, my daughters heard everything and are devastated that their family might be ruined. They miss their brother and are afraid my husband won't ever let him in the house again. My husband hates all forms of infidelity to the core and has always drilled this in our 2 eldest children, that they must never cheat on anyone or be in a relationship with someone in a relationship. I know I did nothing wrong in this, but how will I ever look my brother in the eye again? He won't answer and calls or texts. My husband said I should give him time to heal. My son has left the condo because he is afraid of what my brother will do to him and is now hiding at a friend's and he won't tell us which friend. No word on sister-in-law. Info: sister-in-law was the one who initiated intercourse the first time. My son and her slept together. She was the one booking hotel rooms, buying my son dinners and lunches. My son was even receiving an allowance from her. And guys, unfortunately we have already reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and if you haven't already, please also go to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where I upload exclusive Reddit videos starting at just $3 a month. This is a great way to support me in case you are interested, and the chance for me to become independent from YouTube revenue. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.